Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Enel Green Energy has admitted to multiple curtailing violations since their latest meeting with the DeWitt County Board last month. At Monday night's DeWitt County Land Use Committee meeting, the committee discussed following up the violations with fines. Buck Carter says they need to come up with a process as soon as possible.
We were aware of three violations since back in March, I think it was. I think there should be a follow-up on that. I mean, he sat right here and said that he knew they had messed up and that they budgeted money to pay the fine, and it looks to me like we're sitting here doing nothing. So I think that we're under an obligation to hold them to their word, figure out how our process is going to work, and that we need to be more on top of what may happen here in the future, because as he said in his presentation, they're not going to get that problem fixed right away. It's going to take a while. So they expect violations, so I wouldn't do it. I would propose that you do a follow-up and notify them of those and go from there.
There was some dispute over the violations among the committee. One violation was clear-cut due to the circumstances, and two were a little muddier due to unclear language in the ordinance. Joe Whitty describes the phrase reasonable time as a part of the problem.
I'm going off memory here. I didn't left some of my paperwork at home, but there was 3 in April, if I remember correctly. 2 of them, they were notified by the National Weather Service and curtailed, but it was quite a bit after the warning went off, because I think it was those problem turbines that he alluded to at that board meeting. And the third one, the National Weather Service did not notify them, so they did not curtail. But again, our language says they just have to curtail during the warning. So the notification issue is, I think he acknowledged they have since reached out to National Weather Service, but to me they obviously did not curtail during that event because they were notified, and they don't have automatic curtailment in place. So it comes down to me, there's one obvious violation in my opinion. The other 2, I think it comes down to some language that's going to be less clear. It's within a reasonable time frame. And what is that? Is it 5 minutes? If not, is it 6?
Megan Myers was frustrated by the fact Enel entered the agreement knowing they would be unable to comply with the curtailing ordinance. She believes they need to issue the fines soon.
First and foremost, it sounds like, and this is nothing we can do anything about, but they agreed to language with this county that they knew at the time they weren't going to be able to uphold. There's a legal issue with that, but we're never getting anywhere with that. So my next question is, since the SUP went into effect, since that time, how many warnings were issued that they did not curtail? And to me, the National Weather Service is a separate issue because that's not in our agreement with them. So how do we know how many times a warning was issued, and how do we know that they've curtailed? I feel there's fines to be issued, and we have to err on the side, and even our ordinance says they should be liberally interpreted in favor of the county, and I'm with Joe. If we don't start making a stance on this, if there's a question, we need to issue the fine, and they can contest it.
It was agreed upon the fines need to be administered to Enel. Zoning Administrator Dee Dee Rentmeister was not confident in whether it was 1 violation or 3. This led the board to decide action would be taken at next month's meeting and to direct her to officially decide what reasonable time is to curtail.
So that's kind of where we stand. I think we could expect her maybe to issue, if I'm wrong, issue 1 violation. But if there's any others, I'm not saying she won't do it, right? But we may have to consider taking action at a future date. I don't think we can do it the way the agenda is today. So I think that the problem is, and I don't want to speak for Dee, but is 5 minutes reasonable? Maybe. Is 10?
I don't know.
I think 15 is definitely unreasonable, but it's just difficult language to get around. So that's where I'd like maybe the state attorney to weigh in on that. I think based on what was described, you could sort of make the case. You might as well issue the fine and see where it goes. Right? We're not going to have any leverage if we don't.
The board also discussed an upcoming solar farm project and stated Cummings Engineering had been contracted to be the engineering firm, but they would look into other companies as a backup, like Stanley, a company out of Iowa, building a solar farm in Douglas County. The Warner Library is trying to increase sign-ups for library cards. Mel Snow is the Youth Services Manager for Warner Library and says September is Library Card Sign-Up Month. On the children's side, the theme is Transformers, and all month if your child signs up for a library card, they can pick a prize from the treasure chest.
Yes, it is officially September, so Library Card Sign-Up Month is here. So we've got a few fun things going on. On the children's side, the theme this year is Transformers. Transform your summer or transform your reading is kind of the way they're going. So all month of September, if you sign up for a new library card, you get to pick something from the treasure chest. As a child signing up, you get to pick something from the treasure chest. As an adult, you can pick from a journal, really nice journals and stickers. So we got to kind of have some library swag that you get for signing up for a library card. And if you are replacing a library card, the replacement fee is waived this month. So if you've lost your library card and you've been waiting, now is your chance to come in and get it replaced for free.
Sure.
So with the Transformers theme, we are having an event this Saturday, Touch a Truck program, and it's Transformers theme. So we have Transformers vehicles coming, some of the vehicles that you've seen featured in the Transformers movies will be at the library for you guys to come up and experience.
Library cards are a cheap tool that gives access to so much material at the library, and now you're able to access your card on your phone. The Share Mobile Library app allows you to put the card on your phone, and so you never have to have it physically on you.
If you don't have a library card and you're worried about losing it and that kind of thing, the great thing that we have now is the Share app, so you can have your library card on your phone and the Share app, and you never have to worry about having it physically on you, which I know is another issue people have. I forgot my library card. Well, if you have the Share app, everything that you need is right there. You can even place holds, requests, renew things from the Share app. It is definitely worth having.
Yeah, it's called Share Mobile Library. It's available in the App Store or the Google Play Store. And you can also, if you have kids, you can put their cards on it too.
And link them.
And you can link them so you can order things for them, check out for them, and renew things, just keep track of their accounts.
Yes.
No kidding.
Place holds. They'll notify you when your holds are in.
No
it's
way.
really convenient.
Snow says it's important for kids to have library cards separate from their parents because it lets the library know how many kids and adults they have coming in for grants and reporting. She also notes they don't want kids to be unable to check out books if their parents have material overdue.
We do that for statistics, so we know, okay, how many kids are using the library and how many adults are using the library, because we actually do have to use that for different grants and reporting and things. But also, we don't believe in punishing children for the sins of their parents. So we do have had some parents who unfortunately will check out items and never return them. And our policy is you have to either return the items or pay for them if you've lost them. But this way, if the kids have their own cards, they can still check out items because their accounts are clear. So those are the big reasons for statistical purposes. And also for a lot of kids, it's empowering for them if I can check out things from the library because I have my very own card, especially now that we allow kids to carry their cards with them. They like being able to have it and show it and know it's there.
If you'd like to know more about the Warner Library, visit vwarner.org or find them on Facebook. A Clinton school is focusing on more than just the curriculum this year. Jim Peck is the principal of Clinton Junior High School and says they've been taking a full district approach to social and emotional learning. He says something they value in their building is community. Every month we'll have a different theme, and in August, students spent 20 minutes in their SCL groups once a week to work on building their SCL community.
So, I'll give you an example. Each month has a theme. August, our theme is building communities. And so we look at it at the junior high of every Tuesday, our students are going to be spending 20 minutes in their SEL groups with a teacher and sometimes a teacher's aide in their class. And anytime they're meeting in August and then into September, we're working on building communities. And it's important to understand, hey, this group that I'm with, we're going to be together all year. We're going to be talking about these different things and working through really just how to be a human, right? But we're going to be together. And so focusing on whether that is team building stuff with each other or just how to create a community, because that's one thing that I think sometimes falls through the cracks of our society is how to just be a good human, how to have empathy, how to listen to others, how to understand, how to have difficult conversations. There's so much that goes into SEL, and I think people think of SEL as a program. And to me, it's just teaching our kids and then sometimes teaching ourselves how to socially and emotionally be a human and work through difficult things.
Yeah.
And then support others as they're working through difficult things.
This is a campaign to prepare students better for life and social situations in and outside of school rather than just memorizing information for a test. Peck notes they emphasize the relationship between students, teachers, and families.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. I think, anytime we talk with new teachers right now, new teacher orientation is going on in the district, and one thing that we hit a lot on yesterday was it all has to start with the relationship you have with your kids and your families. And I go back to people talk about SEL being a program. To me, it's not. It's how you act, and the kids will pick up on a lot of the things that we do. And so I think if we're mindful as a staff of how we are acting with each other and how we are approaching our classrooms, then kids pick up on that, and it provides a base for then building the learning on. I don't think learning can truly happen if the kids don't trust their teachers and trust each other. That environment has to be set.
Peck notes this was created specifically by Clinton for Clinton. Therefore, it's catered directly to the needs of the students. Learn more at CUSD15.org. It was a cool, dry week, allowing for early harvest to continue. State crop statistician Mark Schleusner says it was about 5 degrees below average in a week that allowed for nearly all 7 days suitable for field work.
Rainfall was well below average, and so were temperatures in Illinois last week. Rainfall averaged just 4/100ths of an inch across the state, and that was 0.59 inches below normal. Temperatures averaged 65 degrees, and that was 5½ degrees below average. There were 6.7 days suitable for field work around the Prairie State last week, and topsoil moisture was rated 13% very short, 29 short, 57 adequate, and 1% surplus.
1% of soybeans are now harvested, while 70% of the crop was rated in good to excellent condition.
35% of soybean acres were dropping leaves compared to 21% 1 year ago and 11% for the 5-year average. 1% of soybean acres were harvested. Soybean conditions were rated 7% very poor to poor, 23% fair, and 70% good to excellent.
Schleusner notes 82% of the corn crop is in the dent stage, while 2% of the crop is harvested.
82% of corn acres have reached the dent stage compared to 81 last year and 75 normally. 40% of corn acres were mature compared to 24 normally, and corn harvested reached 2% compared to 1% normally. Corn conditions were rated 6% very poor to poor, 19% fair, and 75% good to excellent.
Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.